I found myself in the heart of a sprawling city, the kind you see in superhero comics. As I wandered through the streets, something unusual happened. I started floating. At first, I was startled, but then I realized I could fly. My feet lifted higher, and the world below turned into a blur of motion. I soared above the city, the wind rushing past me like a warm embrace. Soon, I discovered I wasn't just flying, I had incredible strength and even X-ray vision. As I marveled at my newfound powers, a sudden darkness swept over the city, like a storm gathering without warning. A colossal hologram flickered to life in the sky, casting an ominous glow over the skyscrapers. The figure of the Master of Chaos loomed above, cloaked in dark armor with glowing red eyes. Before I could react, metallic screeches pierced the air as robotic minions descended from the sky. They landed with thunderous crashes, sending shockwaves through the ground. Each robot gleamed with a menacing metallic sheen, their sharp claws tearing through buildings like paper. Traffic came to a standstill as cars screeched to avoid the chaos, creating massive pileups. People ran in panic, their cries merging with the mechanical clanging of the robots. It was time to act. With a surge of determination, I took off, my super speed blurring the world around me. I darted between falling debris and terrified pedestrians, lifting them to safety one by one. One particularly massive robot turned its glowing red eyes toward me, raising a clawed arm to strike. I lunged forward, grabbing it by the leg. With every ounce of my newfound strength, I spun it in a wide arc and hurled it into the river. The splash was immense, drenching the surrounding streets. More robots approached, their metal limbs gleaming under the afternoon sun, but I was ready. As I followed the glowing trail of symbols, their eerie light reflected on the wet pavement, leading me farther away from the bustling city. Each step heightened my sense of unease, but curiosity and a sense of duty propelled me forward. The symbols ended at a massive warehouse, its towering structure cloaked in shadows. Faint mechanical whirs echoed from within, like a hive of restless machines. I pushed open the creaky metal door and stepped into the dimly lit interior. The air was thick with the scent of oil and ozone, and the faint hum of electricity made my skin prickle. As my eyes adjusted, I noticed the faint red glint of laser traps crisscrossing the room. Carefully, I weaved my way through the maze of lasers, ducking, twisting, and occasionally holding my breath as I squeezed through tight gaps. Suddenly, a faint buzzing sound caught my attention. Hovering drones patrolled the area, their mechanical eyes scanning for intruders. I grabbed a loose piece of metal debris from the ground, tossing it toward a stack of crates in the corner. The loud clatter drew the drones away, their focus diverted. The deeper I ventured, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. But I knew one thing for sure, the Master of Chaos had to be behind all this, and I was getting closer to uncovering his plan. The massive doors slammed shut behind me with a deafening clang, sealing the room in silence. Then, a booming laugh echoed through the chamber. There he stood, the Master of Chaos, towering in his high-tech, armor-like suit. Pulsating with glowing circuits of red and black, the suit radiated power, amplifying his abilities. I dove behind a pile of metal scraps as the blast scorched the air around me. Thinking quickly, I grabbed a large sheet of metal and held it up as a shield. The energy bolts ricocheted off, scattering in bursts of light. He snarled and fired again, but I darted upward, launching into the air. I twisted and turned in midair, narrowly dodging them as they exploded in fiery bursts. With a burst of speed, I soared higher, diving down with all my strength. I landed a powerful punch right into the mech's leg, the force shattering its lower mechanisms. The Master of Chaos stumbled, trying to regain control. I pressed on, ready for the final showdown. With one final leap, I launched myself onto the mech, tearing out its power core. The machine crumbled, and the master of chaos fell to his knees. "You've won this time," he muttered before disappearing in a cloud of smoke. With the city safe once more, I rose into the sky, flying above the streets that were now filled with life and relief. Looking down, I saw the faces of those I'd saved, families embracing, children laughing, and strangers uniting in joy. As I soared higher, I reflected on the dream's meaning. This wasn't just about flying or fighting a villain, it was about the courage to face what seemed impossible. Being a superhero isn't defined by the powers you have, it's about the choices you make and standing up for what's right. With one final glance at the city below, I soared toward the horizon, the sun at my back, and a deep sense of purpose in my heart. Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribing to the channel. There's so much more to explore together in the world of dreams.